Here we have on the bench my Ripmax tug ready to run, which I brought many years ago, but it was completely rebuilt from the deck upwards, literally. It was modified, but it's just been sitting there for years. So I thought, can I get it going? Because I think the fishing season's over at the moment, so I can actually go on the lake without getting moaned at. So first things first, the electrics, they are sort of Futaba brand, and they're a bit dated, to say the least. You know, the old Sea Rover ESC is 15 amp and doesn't even have a BEC, so you have to run it on a battery pack. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully if the old servo is okay, I'm going to rip out the electrics and put a new radio in and a new ESC, because I've got sitting around from recent, I've got a couple which I don't mind playing with. I've got a radio link, but I thought for this application I thought the dragster would be quite good. The other problem is battery. These used to run on a 6-volt battery, and I'm going to take a chance and run a 7.4 LiPo, the one from the Minimax. So I've got to find a way of putting a tray in there so it doesn't slide around. So I've got to convert the electrics, I'm afraid, to Traxxas. Hopefully I've got a plug I can do something with. If not, I'll have to use an adapter. But that is definitely the ESC that's going to be for the job. And it's suitable because it's got like stop go and everything. So first things first, I'm going to rip out the old and go from there. Oh, one thing I was going to show you, I spent so much time building this, all this detail and all that, even the doors open on the cabin, and this was made out of 0.8mm ply, and it's 2 or 3 layers thick to make some of this. So it's a fun little build I did years ago. And other silly little things, those cap tops to look like the cast iron ones are actually tops off fruit shoots, round trees, yeah, fruit shoots or whatever they're called, drinks. But look at the mess, it is really filthy. So first things first, I think, is get rid of some of this dust. I've got the Traxxas battery, like I said, that's more power than what it had. But I'll make a tray up for it to sit in and then glue that in so the battery at least sits in something. Like I said, we've got a dragster ESC. I'll check the settings later, I just want to make sure this works before we go any further. I'm going to turn the power on. Change the channel up on the radio. Let's see if we get any life. Ooh, I heard a servo. Ah. I don't know. I got the bind plug. It was bound to this. That's what I don't get. No, it wasn't. My foo part. It's not bound to this radio. Okay, so we'll put a bind plug in. We're on, turn off, turn on, hold bind and on. Ah. think that's a bit too much power. I'm going to have to see if I can set the end point on the throttle so it's to about there, so it's not revving so much. But because, like I said, this is only set for this, designed to run on 6 volts, and we are putting 7.4 through it. Well, hold on and I'll see what I can work out. End point adjustments are brilliant. They solve a lot of problems. I've sorted the rudder out, so it's not so far. Pleased with that. I think that's plenty in each direction. So if you say, I don't think it's going to need any more than that, because it was never a fast tug. So hopefully it's running forwards the way you've got it set up, but I can always change that on the fly. So now to get back to restoring it and getting it into one piece, because there's a few bits that got to be repaired, I'm afraid. Well, I've managed to get the old sound unit working. If you listen. So that still works. So that can stay in. I took it out for a sec. I'll re-tape it in now while I was getting it working, because I can't remember the direction the plug went in, and I had it the wrong way around to what I thought would be correct. But it actually does work. So that's quite good. So now it's a tidy up time and sort out the electrics properly. And like I said, do the fixing. Well, a lot of work later. There's the nice new electrics all tidied. There's a new battery tray, so it fits the battery from the Minimax really nice. And it's a nice 3300, which is a long run time, way more than it needs. So I shouldn't run out of power at all. One should be enough for a good run. And I've repaired the cables on top, and I've whitened the roof, so it's not such a horrible patchy colour, but it looks white, really white on the camera. And like I said, the cables are repaired. They're there, fitted to the whistle and to there. And I've tested it in the bath, and good news, it doesn't seem to leak after all this time. It still holds on. Okay. So just sorting out maybe some navigation lights and a couple other bits I'm working on. These, trying to find a way to mount them. So hopefully they'll look a bit better once they're on. There we are, the tug is all ready for a run. The electrics are working, it doesn't leak. I've added some navigation lights just to tighten it up a little bit more, and a couple of life rings on the back of the cabin. So I'm pleased it's looking quite good now, with the repairs and the sort of modernisation. All we need now is a nice sea trial. But no, I've enjoyed sort of getting it cleaned up today, and I'm going to put some pictures on outside showing how nice it looks, to show out the details a bit more.